Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar. I'm Andrew Campbell-Edie. I'm the Communications Manager at the Irish Centre for Diversity. To self-describe, I'm a black man. My pronouns are he, him. I have close cropped hair on my head and a black moustache. I'm wearing spectacles, and I'm in front of a white virtual background with the logo for the Irish Centre for Diversity and our coloured triangle branding. We recently held the National Diversity and Inclusion Awards 2025 to recognise and celebrate the valuable work being done to progress diversity and inclusion in Ireland. This webinar series has been devised to share the insights and experiences from the sponsor, the winners in this case, and finalists, so that any learnings can be applied to your organisation or to help with entering the next award cycle. Today's session focuses on the category Outstanding Diversity Initiative Award. This category recognises and celebrates a resource or initiative that has proven to positively promote FREDI, which stands for Fairness, Respect, Equality, Diversity, Inclusion and Engagement, as a valuable asset. Our sponsor, Matheson LLP, is a law firm of choice for internationally focused companies and financial institutions. This is their third time sponsoring this category, and have supported it since the very beginning. It's testament to how much of a commitment they have to this area. Daragh, our sponsor, representing our sponsor, will expand on this shortly. I'll shortly hand over to Daragh, and then we'll hear from some of the finalists and end with both award winners, wrapping in an hour. We're joined by Catherine White, our ISL interpreter. The session's being recorded and will be available shortly on the Irish Centre for Diversity website. Everyone is muted except the panel, but please do share any comments in the chat function. We'd love to hear which organisations you're joining us from, or if you have any questions. If you do have questions, we won't be able to answer them because there's no Q&A in this session, but you might want to contact each of our speakers directly on LinkedIn, and I'm sure they'll be happy to engage with you. So, Daragh, over to you.
Thank you, Andrew, and good morning, everybody. My name is Daragh Bogan. I manage Matheson's Impactful Business Programme. Andrew said he has closely cropped hair. I can't get away with saying that. I am bald as an egg. I am a white man who is unfortunately middle-aged, and I am very glad to be here today. So it's great to see everybody. And Matheson is again very proud to have sponsored the Outstanding D&I Initiative Award. It's our third year doing so, as Andrew mentioned. D&I is very important to the firm. Very often, I know from even hearing about some of the awards that were already presented, that D&I is important to all of the people who are here today. I think at Matheson, it's something it's so strongly ingrained in our culture. It's one of our 5 values within the firm. It's not one of those situations where we put the values up on a wall and nobody practices them. It's expected within the firm that people will apply the diversity value in their day-to-day operations, internally and externally. The D&I pillar within Matheson consists of 6 committees, and it sits as part of the Impactful Business Programme, which I manage. So we have 4 pillars under that. Excuse me. So we have D&I, environmental sustainability, the arts, and corporate social responsibility, and our employee wellbeing programme as an aside to that, but a very important component of it. And basically within the firm, we recognise the interrelationship that happens between D&I and all of those other pillars. So, for example, under our arts pillar, we're promoting female minority artists, and that then crosses over to the multiculturalism committee within our D&I pillar. So it's great to be here again, and thank you to the Irish Centre for Diversity for inviting us to host this webinar. I'm going to move into the proper proceedings because I've done more than enough talking, and I think it's an opportunity to go straight to Cathy Jones, and Cathy is here from EMAIS. Cathy, the judges I know admired your within your nomination, how you focused on the challenges that EMAIS had gone through in achieving the Investor in Diversity Silver standard. And I know that you have over 2,000 employees from over 50 nationalities, which is a very broad spectrum of people to have. Could you perhaps talk a little bit about how you how you got the result of significantly reducing staff attrition from 31% to 36% over the course of 2 years.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Cathy Jones, and I'm the Human Resources Officer with Amaze Ireland. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a white female wearing a blue jacket. Thank you very much this morning, Daragh, for that. We were truly honoured to be a finalist in this category. It means an awful lot to us as a company. We were looking at merging over 24 nursing homes and a home care business into one entity, which is Amaze Ireland. So we've had an incredible journey in doing that. We have a workforce of over 2,300 employees, and obviously it's across the healthcare sector. And when we looked at the whole thing, we realised we had over 51 different nationalities across the organisation. So that was a really big statistic for us. So we looked at what that might mean to us as an organisation, and the Investors in Diversity programme really gave us the framework to actually start looking at how we can build a better culture, a diverse and inclusive culture. So we went for a bronze accreditation. And then last year we went for a silver accreditation. The silver accreditation actually meant an awful lot more to us as an organisation, in that it came from the people on the ground and their feedback. So that really made a huge impact on us, that we felt, okay, what we've implemented is actually making a difference. So there was lots of different things that we did within that to kind of, like, I suppose, to reduce and encourage our pathway there. We did things like employee focus groups. We had HR clinics where we were actually going out into our homes, talking to our staff, getting their feedback. We did a lot of things around culture, and that was really enlightening, because it wasn't just about culture, whether it's African or Indian, it was also about educating our residents as well. And that was really lovely to see the interaction between both the residents and the employees. So that was actually really very successful events that we did. Moving on from that, then we did things like our recognition program, which is our Amaze Star Awards. The first year went really well. Last year we had over 8,300 nominations across the company, which was absolutely fantastic, with 135 people in the actual final. So that was a very, I suppose, very good project that we did, and it worked really well. And again, it's all building around our diversity and our inclusion. One of the things that came out of the diversity and inclusion survey, the silver survey, was that 54% of our employees actually wanted more mental health training. So we kind of looked at this and went, okay, what can we do around this? So if you look at the statistics, there's 970 million people in the world, of which 12% of them are actually dealing with mental health. Sorry, 12%, which is 970 million, are actually dealing with mental health issue in Ireland, or sorry, in the world. In addition to that, if you look at healthcare, it's 63%, the statistic. So they either suffer with mental health or burnout at some stage in their careers. So we rolled out a mental health first aid program last year, and this proved really very successful, with over 41 trained mental health responders across the organisation. But the feedback has been really positive, and that was something that we kind of felt, look, that is really powerful, and it's something that we're going to continue to do in 2025. And I think, like, you know, to get the feedback, but then to actually see it in reality, we had some really good stories coming through where people actually felt that as an organisation we were supporting them. We also looked at our employee assistance program, and we looked at what else we could do within that. So there's a lot of podcasts and webinars within there that were very useful, that, you know, help people whether they were caring at home. So again, it was just kind of what other supports we can do to actually change our culture, and I suppose bring together a better culture that we feel that is going to help us. And statistically, you know, our turnover was 51%. Which is extremely high, and it is high in healthcare in general. We reduced that to 36% in 2023. And in 2024, which is the end of the year gone, I'm delighted to say that we've maintained that, and we're down to 33%. So to me, I feel like, you know, we're going in the right direction. Retention is still an issue, but our diversity and inclusion programs really help with our retention, but also our engagement. And I think that's really important as well. We've recently done an employee survey, and we actually had 82% of our employees actually respond. Now, to me, that's amazing because it's really difficult. You'd be lucky to get 20%, but we actually got 82%. The results should be out, I'd say, in April, so hopefully that's also going to be a positive result for us all. And I suppose the other little thing that we did was we looked at the whole LGBT plus training. And again, this was something that kind of really resonated with our employees. But what really came through that program was the amount of residents that are also from the LGBT plus community, that some of them are actually even at this stage fearful to actually come forward, and maybe their families don't know, or different things that are going on in their lives and they don't feel comfortable. So one of the things we did was rolled out an LGBT plus program where the rainbow goes up within the organisation and in the nursing home, so that our residents and our families also know that we're approachable, we're friendly, and we can support them. So to me, again, it's about our people, and we are a people business. So at the end of the day, we care for our residents, and that's our priority. And it's about ensuring that the quality of care is there for our residents. And I believe that by having really, I suppose, healthy, happy employees, will give really good quality care to our residents. So I think our journey has seen an impact on both sides of, I suppose, our business, both from the resident point of view, but also from the employee point of view.
Thanks so much, Kathy. It's so interesting, the perspective of the customer-centric approach, and actually looking and making sure that your clients feel comfortable. Because I think that does resonate then and filters through to the colleagues within the organisation as well. So it's some really great examples, and thank you. It's one of the great things, I suppose, about webinars like this, is the opportunity it provides for us to share really good examples of what works. And I noted the podcasting on the EAP as well. So thank you for that. That'll be a tip that I'll be taking away. Thanks so much, Kathy. Eileen, if I could come to you next. You're representing Musgrave this morning, and I was reading about your take your daughter to work day, forgive me, and how the idea behind it was to engage young girls and make them aware of the opportunities that could exist within Musgrave and within the fast-moving consumer goods sector generally. And you took time to show them basically how non-traditional roles might be available to them. Could you tell us a little more about how you did that, please?
Yeah, so thanks, Sarah, and welcome everyone, and thanks for the opportunity. Similar to Kathy, we were delighted to be shortlisted for the Outstanding Diversity Initiative Award, and it was fantastic on the night to hear all the different stories and initiatives. I suppose in Musgrave, we are primarily a retail and wholesale business. We operate a number of stores across the island of Ireland, Spain and the UK, and we've quite a diverse employee base. So we've over 10,000 colleagues working in supply chain, our stores, and in hybrid or in-field roles. And I suppose a key part of our strategy is driving inclusion and diversity and building a more inclusive organisation. And we recognise it does give a competitive edge, it gives better engagement, it gives better retention. But I suppose a key part of our strategy is ensuring we get the employee voice and the employee input. So similar to a lot of organisations, we have a number of employee resource groups, and we also have a menopause network. And one of those employee resource groups is our gender ERG. And this is where the idea came from, Daragh. So a colleague, a member of this ERG, brought the idea forward as a proposal. She herself had actually been at a Bring Your Daughter to Work Day when she was a teenager, and it had a really lasting impact for her, to the extent that she decided not to go down that particular career path. It was in a hospital. But again, it was awareness for her about what she liked and didn't like. So we, I suppose, very much took the idea forward, working with the ERG and with a local pilot site, which is our Belfast site, to explore what kind of day could we design for young girls. And we very much targeted daughters or nieces of colleagues working in our Belfast business. And we were very mindful that we wanted to show the breadth of opportunities in Musgrave and in the retail sector. So, as you can imagine, you've got marketing, you've got sales, but you've got areas like supply chain, which can tend to be quite male dominated. You've got areas like store operations that unfortunately still are quite male dominated at senior levels, but also emerging areas like analytics and data science. So we designed a very meaningful engagement whereby they came along, spoke to some of our managers or leaders, heard their stories, and I suppose the concept that your career isn't always linear, can be quite squiggly along the way. What you may do at university could be very different to where you end up now. So it was giving girls that reassurance that actually, don't be so caught up in what you're going to do in uni. It's a platform to do some other things, and also giving you that opportunity to flex your career as you need to. They also had an opportunity to go into our warehouse, to go into our trucks, and to talk to people working in, let's say, the traditionally more male-dominated areas. And the feedback was really powerful. It had such an impact, both on the girls that were there in the day, but also the guardians of those girls, but the wider colleague base as well, because they could see something very tangible that the gender ERG were driving. And on the back of that, we got some extra members to that ERG. But also, I think what's been fantastic on the back of that initiative as well is a few things. A proposal then came from another colleague around Sisters In. So Sisters In is a leadership program that runs currently in Northern Ireland. It partners with girls kind of in our, let's say, in the Republic of Ireland, kind of in transition year or fifth year. So they're 15 or 16 years old. And it works with these girls to develop their skills to be ready to obviously go to university or to go into jobs when they leave school. And it also allows an opportunity. We've got 10 of our colleagues from Northern Ireland partnering with these girls on a mentor-mentee basis. So they're actually working with the girls over the course of the year to be a sounding board, to help develop their skills, to work through some tangible examples from their own jobs about the different activities that they do. And next Wednesday, we're bringing those mentees on site to Belfast to do a job shadow day. And again, we're approaching that from perspective of showing the variety of jobs that exist in our business, not just the traditional areas maybe where there are more women in. So it's been a fantastic platform for us to take an idea that came from one of our ERGs and now expand it into a more meaningful leadership program as well. The other thing we're doing is we are going to expand Bring Your Daughter to Work Day to other locations across the island of Ireland, but also actually expand it not just to girls, but to children. Okay, so one of the feedback we got was that a lot of boys would like to understand as well what are the jobs in the retail sector and what are the different career paths. So we're actually going to focus on girls and boys, but we're also looking at job shadow initiatives as well for people with additional needs, because we recognise that they may need some more reasonable accommodations as they work through a job shadow day initiative on site. So from a small, simple idea, it's grown a lot of positive legs, and I suppose really led us to expand more opportunities across the business, but also allow colleagues to get more engaged in the initiative as well.
Thanks so much, Eileen. It's so timely with International Women's Day being Saturday of next week, and the theme being Accelerate Action. What a perfect kind of platform with those young women who are coming in next week to join you, to coincide with that, because you're certainly practicing the Accelerate Action theme and bring it to life. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Eileen, if I could, excuse me, I'm so sorry, Melanie, if I could go to you next, please, at Irish Distillers. I loved the Shared Roots initiative that you launched. And for me, it just resonates so strongly around culture. That's the word I just read straight away from it. Culture, culture, culture. And I know it was about trying to bring colleagues together to talk about their own shared roots. And it seems that you brought a significant number of your colleagues together to discuss them. In doing so, you clearly have broadened the horizons of the firm, and a culture of inclusion has really been developed. Could you talk a little bit about the Shared Roots initiative, please, and perhaps what the next steps you plan to implement further to it?
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you to you, Daragh, and obviously the Irish Centre for Diversity for being a finalist and this opportunity to discuss shared roots. So to self-disclose, I am an Irish white female. I am wearing a red and black kind of top, and my background is pale blue with our Belong Diversity and Inclusion Network logo, and then our multicolored sunburst logo as well, which is kind of the Pernod Ricard Irish Distillers logo. So in terms of shared roots, and I love the fact that you were able to pick up immediately of the impact it has had on our culture. And I think, the origin of the Shared Roots series came really from the recognition that we are very lucky to have a very diverse population of colleagues. So we have over 35 nationalities working for us. But also it was, I suppose, prompted by the fact that in the post-COVID times, we really had there was a sense of a diminishment, I suppose, of that convivial moment. So conviviality is at the heart of everything we do in Pernod Ricard. We are creators of conviviality. And I think there was a definite impact immediately after COVID in terms of those opportunities to come together. And so our Shared Roots series was the opportunity for people only to come together in person. So we never did these sessions virtually. And individuals spoke about, so we focused on a particular country across all of our sites. And the individual then was asked a series of questions, about their heritage, about their favorite foods, kind of fun questions as well, what they missed about their country. And then we're really lucky to have excellent chefs and canteens. And so then specially selected dishes were prepared, for everyone to go afterwards then and share the meal about which they had spoken. So I think, in itself, that was just lovely. But certainly our speakers spoke so much afterwards about the quality of the conversations they had with colleagues afterwards. And it was a whole new level of connection that they were experiencing and really valued. And I know, for instance, we had one colleague who had fled Iran many, many years ago. And he found it so powerful and moving for him that he was able to share his heritage. He brought in these beautiful cultural artifacts and, that were such a source of pride for him. And I think, that meant so much to him, but it meant so much to everyone who was there and present. So what came out of it, when you're asking what are we going to do next, I think what was a really interesting insight for us is we have an annual D&I week, but actually the feedback was around, let's not go external all the time for getting in expert speakers, because we have so much, such a wealth of diversity within our own organization and within each site that we possibly didn't even know about beforehand. So let's really try and tap into that and do more kind of storytelling and more sharing and more under many different aspects of diversity. So not necessarily, just that cultural diversity piece, but, there's an opportunity for many other colleagues to share their stories. So we are continuing with Shared Roots. So there's, it's continuing in 2025. So even though we thought it was just going to be 1 year to start, we're continuing it in 2025. And I should say that, give a shout out to the cultural diversity lead, my colleague and dear friend Biola. So the idea came really when we were marking World Refugee Day, and she was speaking about her own experience as a refugee when she came to Ireland and her experience in direct provision. And at the time we had Sanctuary Runners speaking as well, Graham Clifford from Sanctuary Runners. So we kind of did this lovely full circle piece of closure by creating a commemorative book with all of the recipes, with bios of the speakers, with, their kind of highlights of their talks, and all of the proceeds then went to Sanctuary Runners. So it was a lovely kind of collaboration with them. And I suppose, what we're going to do this D&I week, which is happening in May, is just, I'm not sure if people have heard of Shanakiha, but that was started by actually one of our former brand ambassadors. So he started his career in Jemison, and Kieran Gaffney, big shout out to him. So he's amazing. But so we're going to do that and do it with the theme of inclusion. So it's an opportunity for more storytelling, more connecting in person, and shared convivial moments.
Thanks so much, Melanie. Again, another theme that came through is the storytelling, be it lived experience or
Yes.
bringing other people to talk, or perhaps colleagues to talk about their own lived experience. Certainly, I would say that at Matheson here, that's something that we definitely focus on, is because, do you know why? Because people turn up. Because they're really interested in hearing about what their colleagues have gone through or their stories, etc.
Absolutely. And I think what was so powerful about it was that there's more that connects us and binds us than separates us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Melanie.
You're welcome.
Monica,
Thank you.
I'm going to come to you next. You're representing IDA today. As somebody who is neurodiverse, and I have no problem in saying that to people whatsoever, it was great to read about the initiative that you launched at IDA. You established neurodiversity pillar as part of your EDI action plan. And you were appointed the lead of the committee, if I can call it that. So you impressed the judges with how you've grown an internal community supported by allies and champions and volunteers, which helped IDA to understand neurodiversity in the workplace. It'd be very interesting to hear a little more about how do you support neurodivergent individuals at IDA, and also why the initiative is important to you.
Thank you, Daragh, and good morning, everybody. As a quick self-descriptor, I'm a white female. I clearly look like I'm 21. No, I'm 50. I've got chin-length red hair, and I'm wearing dark glasses. I'm wearing a leopard print top and a yellow blazer with an IDA Ireland logo. And my background is the IDA Ireland EDI logo, which is white with a rainbow coloured shamrock outline and the word neurodiversity on a green background. So building awareness and understanding of neurodiversity was my first step. Neurodivergent conditions, they take many forms, but at the time when this started, people were using neurodiversity and autism interchangeably. And there's a lot more to it than that. So I organized specific information sessions around ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, and my own general Neurodiversity 101 session, which is great fun. I started really by delivering the Neurodiversity 101 to IDA's senior leadership team, and then I followed it up with internal delivery to about 16 of IDA's 20 global divisions. And then we had standalone sessions in person and virtual because we're a global organization and I can't travel around to give a 20-minute presentation, much as I would love to. So I continue to refresh the session and I deliver it at regular intervals for colleagues. And I also realized that there's an external want to better understand neurodiversity, especially from a business perspective. So I've also developed an external Neurodiversity 101, and I've delivered that to a good few organizations. Ultimately, my vision was, and it still is, to promote a world where every unique mind is accepted and celebrated for what it is. So our neurodiversity initiative includes a lot of simple but impactful measures supporting neurodivergent colleagues, including the Neurodiversity 101 sessions. We've implemented a pocket of peace at large events, just a little quiet room with fidgets and stuff available to all staff. And we've also had quite a bit of fun along the way. I mean, we've talked about the really important stuff like, does pineapple belong on pizza? And is a Jaffa cake a cake or a biscuit? I mean, like, we're really getting down to the really important stuff here. But these activities, they've contributed to a broader understanding of how we all think and process information differently, whether we're neurodivergent, neurotypical, whatever. Dr. Temple Grandin, she wisely said, the world needs different kinds of minds to work together. And it resonates deeply with our mission in IDA. I mean, statistically, if you look around, the neurodivergent community is significantly underemployed internationally. So there's still a huge amount of work to be done. But when we come together and we accept cognitive diversity and we allow people to show up as their true selves, the workplace becomes better for all of us. So I support everybody in the organization. It's not just about neurodivergent individuals. We can put supports in place that are helpful both for neurodivergent individuals, but they're also really helpful for everybody else. And so it's practical action steps at no cost or very, very little cost. And the increased awareness that's led to the adoption of a lot of initiatives to create a more accessible work environment, like universal design principles in our written communications, updated interview accommodations, and a pilot for reasonable accommodations passports. And we've also piloted read and write assistive technology from Everway, which was formerly called Text Help. And we've provided licenses to all of the staff who want it, plus their families. And there's no need for people to disclose that they may have a condition like dyslexia or ADHD. They just all have access to it. So the neurodiversity pillar, it's positively impacted colleagues' working lives. We've got confidential disclosure processes for people who do want to disclose, and accommodations are provided without stigma, and in some cases accommodations are just made available to everybody, such as the quiet room.
Hey, sorry, Monica, that's
yep.
that universal application sounds perfect, but I do have to cut you off there. I'm really, really
Yeah.
sorry.
That's
Unless maybe you want to make your last
thing I
point.
was going
Okay.
to say.
Oh, thank you.
The last thing I was going to say is I'm always happy to chat about neurodiversity. So if anybody on the webinar today wants to reach out, I'm putting my LinkedIn details in the chat. And that was literally my last sentence.
Thank you very much, Monica. Much appreciated. Pineapple does work with pizza. And with regard to the Jaffa cakes, well, we have a TY program that we host at the firm. And at the end of March, I got 51 teenagers coming in. I lead the program. And I actually give them the Jaffa cake case every single time for them to the diversity of thought and help them look at the world from a different perspective. So it's a very applicable and a great example, I think, as well. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. I'm very grateful. Nuria, if I could come to you next, please, from NTMA.
Yes.
And it's great to see you this morning as well. At NTMA, the judges really admired your cultural agility journey, which was designed to foster an inclusive and supportive environment for international colleagues by raising awareness about the importance of cultural inclusion. The initiative aims to bridge the gaps between different cultures, to promote respect and enhance the overall workplace employee experience. Forgive me. Could you tell us a little more about the cultural agility journey, please?
Yes, of course. Just as a self-description, I'm a Spanish woman and dark hair, red jacket, and you can see in the back the headquarters of the NDMA in the Docklands. So I'm also the chair of one of the ERG groups, the International Multicultural Awareness Group. We also have a LGTB+, gender balance, and disability support group. In our case, our focus is to raise awareness of different cultures in the wider sense. So we are not just internationals. We want to raise awareness of all the cultures and with our Irish colleagues as well. So we tend to celebrate our different days, theme days, national days. We celebrate with food. 2 years ago, we had a discussion about we don't want to focus just on the fun side of things. We also want to know if we can help and support our international colleagues who may have a different experience to what an Irish colleague will have, because as an international living abroad, you meet your own networks. You need to build your own networks here in Ireland. And we think IMAT can support and be in one of those networks to support those experiences. So the first thing we realized is that there was no channel really to get to know what was happening. If one of our colleagues have an issue, they may not have confidence to speak to their managers or so. So the first thing we did was to have a culture focus group. The intention of these sessions was to find out, are we doing well? Are there any issues? Can we help with those? So that report was really helpful in that it shows us the areas where we were doing well, and IMAT was really well received as one of the networks and tools to help embrace new joiners who may be from other countries. On the other hand, it highlighted the need for increased training to raise awareness of cultural differences. The reason being because we have different attitudes, we have different behaviors, and I'm going to put a very simple example. I'm from Spain, so if you ask me for a meeting after lunch, I will think you're talking about 4 p.m., which may not be your after lunch, and those things are simple things that can be addressed by communication, but first we need to raise awareness. So then in the focus on 2024 was to focus on that training. And we developed a 2-phase programs. The first one was to engage with senior management, because the only way to get in these trickle-down effects across the whole organization is to start to the top. So we spoke with Dr. Emer Nolan, who is a professor of Trinity College, who is specializing in cultural agility. And she designed a workshop, especially an interactive workshop for our senior managers, so they could have the tools and strategies to address those issues. First, to understand when you come from a different country, what's your heritage, what's your way of thinking, what's your way of relationship with other colleagues, and on that help in raising awareness, and also open the door to connect with Dr. Nolan and seek for more resources, which was really helpful. We saw this had a great feedback from senior management. You can see also managers who may see things different, and that's the challenge. So that this is just a journey. We have just started. It hasn't ended. So it's something that we need to work continuously working on that. And we saw putting our post in LinkedIn, we have a massive attraction and the impact we had. The second phase was to have an online webinar for all the organization. And that's one of the first ones that we need to keep doing, because again, it's something that you need to work on that every day. It's creating a space for internationals to see that they have visibility, that there is a place there to reach out to other colleagues if something, they have some fears or some issues or some situations that they need to address. There's always a hand here for them to help them. And also coming back to my first point, we are not just focused on multicultural, just on internationals, and we want to make that very clear. We are here to integrate everyone. So for example, in March, our focus is obviously St. Patrick's Day and everything that is related. So we are going to celebrate Pancakes Day next Tuesday, and we are going all to learn Gaelic and ask for a pancake in Gaelic. So it's just trying to understand we are all different, but in our core, we are all equal. Just find a way to communicate between us.
Thank you very much, Nuria. And if you do learn, please do tell me how to say kind of pancake in Gaelic, please. If I don't know myself. Thank you so much.
I don't know yet. I've been told this is the transcript. I say, okay, I need to focus there.
Thank you so much.
And it's interesting because many of my colleagues ask me the same. I say, wow, you should know.
A learning day for everybody. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Stephen, if I could come to you next, please. Stephen White from Zurich. Stephen, Zurich launched the This Is Us, This Is Me campaign, or initiative rather, which I read is a kind of a groundswell of colleagues coming together, which is fantastic to hear. And I wonder if you might be able to tell us a little bit more, please, about it, and also what are the next steps for Zurich in this area.
Thank you, Daragh. I'm Stephen White. I'm an IT project manager with Zurich. My pronouns are he, him. So if I self-describe, I'm a 40-something gay white man with greyish hair and beard, and I'm wearing an orange top today. 3 years ago, I never imagined I'd be involved in a campaign like this. When I joined our first This Is Us, This Is Me call, I didn't even disclose that I was gay, and I referred to my now husband as my partner for fear of causing a fuss. 2 years later, I'm heavily involved in the campaign, and last year I hosted a storytelling session about myself, talking about myself and LGBTQ+ allyship, where I interviewed the CEO of Zurich Ireland, Anthony Brennan. And it speaks to the power of the campaign and the personal impact it has had on my life. I want to extend my gratitude to the Irish Centre for Diversity. It's a tremendous honour to be nominated in this category, and speaks volumes of the work you do and have done in promoting DEIB matters. Zurich's This Is Us, This Is Me campaign is an employee-led initiative that began as a conversation among colleagues during the pandemic, where we wanted to learn more about each other's experiences and challenges that we face. And the campaign has since evolved into a comprehensive movement that promotes DEIB through storytelling and sharing lived experiences. So one of the challenges we face in growing the campaign is maintaining its authenticity. It was an organic movement led by employees, and we want to make sure that we don't lose the essence of the campaign by expanding its reach. So some of the plans that we have for this year and some of the storytelling sessions that we're going to cover, we have one plan to cover grief and its impact on people. We're also going to be talking, hopefully, to people who live with the stammer and learning about their experiences. We also hope to have a global expansion within Zurich. So last year, we held our first hybrid This Is Us, This Is Me conference, which was attended by over 200 people. We discussed the campaign and its positive impact within Zurich, and we were honoured to have our EMEA CEO, Alison Martin, join us, and she shared her personal story with great openness and vulnerability. And Alison's engagement, as well as the backing of the Zurich Ireland management team, have demonstrated the support our leaders have for the initiative. And now it's up to us within the group to harness this support to spread the message further by engaging with our DEIB resource groups within Zurich. One of our top priorities this year as well is to expand the reach of the campaign. So we've had a steady number of people joining our storytelling sessions, and we peaked with our hybrid conference last year. But this year we aim to try to reach those who don't join our calls. And that applies to all DEIB initiatives, not just This Is Us, This Is Me. We plan to offer different methods of engagement, podcasts, written narratives, and we're possibly looking at attending team meetings to talk to teams in person about the importance of the campaign and how participation can make a difference to people's lives. Attending this call today is also a learning opportunity for us, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to hear about other initiatives every day. It truly is, every day is a learning day. Another area for us this year is promotion and awareness. Alongside our expanded reach, we hope to increase the awareness of the initiative both inside and outside of Zurich. We will leverage internal communication, newsletters and social media to highlight the campaign's success on upcoming events. The This Is Us, This Is Me campaign has made a significant impact within our organisation, and we're really excited about the potential for future growth and reach, hopefully by staying true to the campaign's authentic roots and while embracing new strategies for engagement. We hope to continue to foster a culture of inclusivity and understanding. That's it from me.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Stephen, and thank you very much, and congratulations on such a great initiative within the organisation as well.
Thank you.
Right, time to move over to the first of the winners, and I'm going to go to Christian Clark at Bus Éireann. Christian, Bus Éireann's travel assistance scheme is a pioneering initiative that reflects the organisation's commitment to accessibility, inclusion, and diversity in public transport. And since its launch in Cork in 2022, it has been expanded to Limerick, Waterford, and Galway, demonstrating Bus Éireann's dedication to improving mobility for all. The judges commended your willingness to engage directly with members of the public who might be struggling with the service and really listened to their issues. Could you tell us a little more about the programme and how it...
Daragh, I'm really sorry, just a tiny bit.
I'm so sorry.
Just a tiny bit.
Sorry, Catherine. Do I need to repeat the question? Sorry. Christian, over to you then.
Hi, thank you, Daragh. So my name is Christian Clark. I'm the Accessibility Manager for Bus Éireann. Self-described, I'm a white male, 45 sadly. I'm wearing a white shirt, sparkly purple tie and a grey jacket. And my hair is significantly more cropped than I discussed with my barber yesterday. I've got cerebral palsy, I wear glasses, and I'm also recovering from a broken hip. So as you say, Daragh, the scheme started in 2022 in Cork with 2 people. The aim of the scheme is to train people with additional needs to be independent. So we'll take them onto the scheme, we'll understand their needs and why they want to use our services, and that can extend to commuter services with Irish Rail as well. And we'll train them from the point of their house to getting where they want to make sure they're safe, so every part of the journey. And that will be broken down into getting on the bus, engaging with the driver, understanding the challenges of other people being on the bus, and tracking their landmarks so they know when to get off and how to get off. Road safety is also a big part of it, but the main thing for us is understanding how we can engage with different types of people, with different situations, and how we can open up their horizons. We find that a lot of service users feel like society's not listening to them, and that they've got a closed set of options for their life. And yourselves and other people are very big in opening that up for people. So it's around that, really. The scheme is very successful. We've expanded, and that's down to the people, really, getting the right people in the right place at the right time. So understanding how we recruit, who we're recruiting, and changing that. So we've moved away from a process type recruitment, which was more criteria based, to more person-centered recruitment, because I can train you on skills, I can train you on processes, but I can't train you how to engage with people as easily. Some people are just brilliant at it, and I'm lucky in that we've found a team that are great at doing that. We also made sure that we engage with our frontline staff as well. We see this very much as a partnership between the frontline and the service users and other customers as well. So it's about opening up their understanding of what accessibility is. When I first moved to the company, it was very much put a ramp in or put a rail up, and that's all they saw accessibility as, really. Whereas, as we all know, it's a huge array of different situations, and we need to be able to engage with those people and educate the staff on how they can help as well. So talking to the front line, one of the things we talk about all the time is don't be afraid to ask the question, do you need some help? Because the service user has answered that question a million times, a million different ways. So it's better to say the wrong thing than to say nothing. We've expanded the scheme to, as you said, Daragh, to Galway, Limerick and Waterford now. We've gone from a team of 2 people when it started to 8 people now. We've done over 2,000 assists since the scheme started, and we've engaged with different organisations. So we do meet and greets with the organisations, we do talks with the organisation so that they understand road safety. We deal with anyone who's over 18. We also make sure that we do open events with staff. So we did a roadshow, a frontline roadshow with staff in Cork, focusing on visual impairment. So the Irish Guide Dogs for the Blind came along with some dogs, and we had Vision Island come along with some goggles to simulate different conditions, so that it was a snapshot for people to understand what it might be like for a short period of time to have an impact. I think people understanding that they look at it, I said this on the night, but look at it as the person, not the problem, was the big thing, so that we made connections with the front line, so that they understood that accessibility can be to do with neurodiversity, it can be acquired injuries, it can be aging, it can be all sorts of situations on top of wheelchairs or visual impairment, and how they can help. That's been the big thing for us, and that's where some of the big voices who didn't understand it, now we've managed to educate them a bit more, and now big voices for us, and they're understanding how they can help. We're looking at expanding even more. So the scheme is funded by the NDIA, and with partnership with them, they also funded the Dublin bus version, which has been going in the Greater Dublin area for about 14 years. So we're looking at 2 more cities this year and a rural area as well to trial that. But I can only give credit to my team, really, because they're the ones who are driving it. They're listening to the service users. We're always looking at different ways of working, and we're always keen to work with any organisation where we feel we can have a collaborative approach. So anyone who wants to get in touch, you're more than welcome. We really feel that this is changing lives. It's changing the lives of the service users, but crucially, it's changing the lives of the staff as well, because they're opening up their horizons and the way they're thinking. And all of a sudden, they're thinking about other passengers who maybe wouldn't be part of their thinking before, to say, actually, maybe I can help them a little bit more as well. So it's been really important that we've given the updates to the staff along the way to say, this is what we've achieved, this is how we've got here, and that you're part of it as well, so that we're building that understanding from the team. One of the things we really enjoy is bringing in new service users with different situations that we've not dealt with before, because we can learn from that and we can keep pushing and evolving. For us, it's about engaging, then educating the service user or the colleague on what's possible, and then evolving the process. So we're really positive about it. It's going very well. We have set up some good sessions with different organisations, so that we'll go to their centres with a bus. We'll take a bus out so people can try it in a safe space, and they can get on a bus and just get to grips with it and understand it, because as everyone knows, people can be very nice and they can be lovely and accommodating, but when they're in a rush and it's rush hour and they want to get home, people sometimes can not think about the impact they have on others. And as part of this work, we're always working with the rest of the business to see how we can improve the service in general for the service users. And I think I always say that if you make it better for the accessible community, it makes it better for everyone. So that's really what we're trying to do at the moment. I'm conscious of time. How am I doing for time, Andrew? Excellent. I think that's okay. So
you've got 20 seconds.
Oh, there we go, 20 seconds. So yeah, It's about changing lives. It's about giving them independence. It's about owning it up. It's about listening to them and making them feel heard, because they really do make it better for everyone. And I think we've done a lot, we've achieved a lot, but there's a lot more to go. So we're excited about what we could do in 2025. Also, I'm recruiting again for the Waterford team, so keep your eye out for that if you know anyone who's interested.
Good pitch at the end, Christian. Thank you very much. A fantastic initiative. Congratulations to you and all at Bus Éireann once again. Such a customer-centric approach, but actually that improves society more generally as well. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And finally, but by no means least, I'm going to come to Shane Mulcrane over at Dalata Hotel Group. And Shane, your group were also one of the winners. The judges admired the very ambitious project, which offered training and job opportunities for people with Down syndrome. They were impressed with the clear objectives, training plan and commitment to creating meaningful, sustainable employment locations across the country. It was a brave initiative that showed perseverance and a willingness to adapt and grow. Could you tell us about what being a joint winner in this category meant to you, and also how you anticipate the initiative will grow?
Thanks, Daragh, and good morning to everyone, and thank you to the Irish Centre for Diversity for inviting me here and having the platform. So just to self-describe, so I'm a white male in my late 30s, clinging on to the late 30s. I have short dark hair and I'm wearing a dark grey suit with a white shirt, and I have a background of a city landscape in sunset, which is a Dalata image. So as I said, thank you very much for having me here, and I just want to say it's been a joy to listen to everyone else and to describe in terms of what everyone has done. And I suppose we're all trying to do the same thing in a way, and like it's actually quite humbling to say that we were a joint winner in the category when you listen to the to everyone else's stories. And I really hope, I suppose, I do it justice for Dalata, because really, like, we are very proud of this. We're very proud of this initiative. And before I jump in, just a bit of context for for people who might not know us. So Dalata Hotel Group, we're a hospitality company, and we operate under the Clayton Hotel and Maldron Hotel brands across Ireland, the UK, and growing in Europe. And I suppose our program with Down Syndrome Ireland, like, it really feeds into our strategy around inclusion and diversity, like where we're trying to really nurture an inclusive culture throughout the organization. As a business, we have a high growth strategy, but within that, it is all done within our values, and it's all done with a view to how we can have a really inclusive workplace as we move forward. And with that, we do focus on areas such as recruitment, development, and career progression. On the recruitment side of it, that's really where this partnership fits. And we started a conversation with Down Syndrome Ireland about 3 years ago at this stage. And our intention to kind of work in partnership was to look at how we could work together to remove barriers and break down barriers for adults with Down syndrome to gain employment. And really, I suppose, with the program, what we did is we developed out a bespoke training and work placement program over 6 weeks for adults with Down syndrome within our food and beverage departments within each of our hotels. And I suppose, we ran the pilot program in 2023, and we ran out a full program last year in 2024, and we've another program up and running in 2025. And we're delighted to say, like, through the previous 2 programs, like, we had 12 adults with Down syndrome who graduated in that program, and 8 of those are in permanent paid employment within Dalata, within our hotels. And really, that was our end goal and our intention with this. And the fact, it's so essential, and I know everyone probably on this call will agree as well, to have that paid employment and that sustainable employment at the end of it is really crucial. So we're delighted, I suppose, with the program, how it's gone. And also we have, I suppose, big intentions in terms of the growth of it now as well, and scaling it. And we are having conversations with a similar organization in the UK to partner with them, and we are looking at opportunities throughout Europe as well. But I suppose, like, winning this award, like, it means so much to, like, the whole company in terms of you know, like we knew it was a good program and all of that, but to get that kind of external validation is really great. Like the impact that it has had on our team has been enormous. You know, and the impact it's had on the individuals that have come through has obviously been enormous. And to, you know, on the night of the awards, we were lucky to have Dylan, who's our colleague who works in Modern Tala, who himself and his mother joined us at the awards. And Dylan gave a brilliant speech accepting the award, which was great. And it's, you know, like that in itself is a little kind of microcosm in terms of Dylan is now one of our colleagues, and everyone who works with him every day is like, just the morale amongst the team is enormous, you know. And even the feedback we've got from some team members is it's actually helped their communication. So they've adapted in terms of how they communicate with other people as well. So like the benefit has been enormous in terms of our learning as a company as well. So, you know, we've learned so much in terms of that whole recruitment process, as I mentioned, which is kind of a strategic aim for ourselves. But we've learned a huge amount through the program and continue to do so. But each of our teams have been involved, have really learned a lot. All of our other hotels are like, we want to be involved in this program, so the demand has been great, which is brilliant to see. And the fact that I suppose like what we're really proud of is that we've developed a model of you know, breaking down barriers for adults with Down syndrome and providing that paid sustainable employment at the end of it. And as I said, we're really, I suppose, looking forward to kind of growing the program, you know, and you know, also sharing it across the industry as well. So, you know, like obviously we're sharing our success here today, but engaging, you know, across the hospitality industry, because really this isn't just a Dalata program. This is a program that can be taken and can be used, you know, across the industry, and have a greater impact in terms of, you know, disability in the wider space, but also obviously with adults with Down syndrome. So.
Thank you very much, Shane. A fantastic initiative, and congratulations once again to you and all involved at the Dalata Hotel Group. From my own side, I just want to thank everybody who joined us today, both those who spoke and those who are in attendance, and for all sharing your respective examples, which I found fascinating. Andrew, I will hand back over to you.
Thank you very much, Daragh. I'll just add very briefly to those thank yous. Thank you to Catherine, our ISL interpreter. Thank you to the tech team behind the scenes. And thank you for joining us. The recording will be available shortly on our website, iriscenterfordiversity.ie. You're welcome to contact us through the website and register for upcoming webinars and to view the recordings. I will say once more, thank you to our panelists for sharing all the amazing work that they do. It's an incredibly high caliber of work being done there, and thank you for everything that you're doing in the whole D&I space. I can see now why the judges awarded 2 winners in this category, because you know, the standard was so high. So thank you so much. That is it from me. Thank you. I think we're just on the time. So thank you to everyone for juggling their speeches to make us on time. So I'm not going to crash it anymore. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.